Hey, I was just thinking, maybe this show we do something different. Maybe it, not suck. The Nice Guys apologize for any inconvenience that this podcast has caused anyone. By the way, is there anyone listening who knows how to fly a plane? Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you so much. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the mic is Mr. Doug Sandler. And on the other side of the mic.
Oh, a third side.
Is Sunny Lake. We have three sides. We are like a triangle today.
We are the triangle of love today. Wait a minute. As a love triangle. Sunny, welcome.
Thanks, guys. No, we are a little crazy little love triangle today.
This is good. Strick, one thing I really got a laugh out of when you did last time. You actually sang the Nice Guy jingle.
Oh.
Can you do that?
The Nice Guys on Business podcast. You like the sing-song thing, huh?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on a second.
Just don't ask me to sing for the love of God. Don't ask me to sing.
I got the bell.
You got the bell? You got to make sure you have the bell ahead of time, just like you have the promise statement.
Wait, my bell is totally fucked up.
Oh, your bell's fucked. What happened?
I don't know.
Clean that bell, baby.
Wait a minute. Wait, it's not quite clear enough. There's a fine line between making it a good sound and making it a horrible.
Such a fine line between stupid and clever.
You know what? I threw my bell away. I'm going to come up with I've been listening to some podcasts. There's so many great sound effects things out there, but I just didn't want to turn it into the morning zoo.
I don't want to be the morning zoo either, but you make an excellent comment. You say there are a lot of great podcasts out there. I wanted to thank the Nice Guy community because, like, have you ever been on a Southwest flight? They say, what? Yeah. We know you have a lot of choices and we appreciate that you chose Southwest. You know what? Podcast listeners, we appreciate that you have a lot of podcast choices out there. And we totally appreciate that you're listening to us.
Wait, Sunny's got she's got a valuable point here, guys.
I just said no, there's really no choice. There's no other choice. We're the clear choice.
If only all of our listeners were like Sunny.
Well, we're the only choice.
Sunny, it was no longer a listener. She's now a part of the team. She has been indoctrinated into the. How the hell did we get this to happen, Sunny? What happened? Would you give up?
It was Twitter and some photos, some questionable photos.
And she sent me a bottle of whiskey. Come on, what am I going to do? Well, I mean, I prefer Scotch, but I'm not that picky.
I'm a bourbon gal. Really, I mean. Bullet bourbon is kind of my jam. But if you guys are wondering what to get me for my birthday or Christmas or Tuesday or anything like that. So just any day.
So, So, Sunny, you originally were a listener, and then I think you were introduced to Sean. Is that right? Sean Carpenter?
Yes, yeah. Sean Carpenter.
And then what happened? I mean, you threw your hat into the ring.
Well, I just tweeted the shit out of you guys for a while.
Yeah.
And finally, you were like, okay, finally.
Okay, shut the fuck up. Just come on the show. God damn,
You're
Sonny.
just like, oh, God, what's it going to take to make you stop bugging us? I'm like, well, just here's a picture. This is who I am. I'm a fun person. I like to drink. I like to talk. I have some pretty decent ideas. And I swear a lot.
And the combination of those three things, and my brother is David, and he has not a radio show, but he's a radio personality in Baltimore. So he gave me a little bit of advice. He said, Sunny was really good when she was on the show, and she did the segment, and she was good too. But she would be much better and much more dynamic if you guys have her on the show. And I thought, it's probably a good idea. So
it did sound flat in the recording. I was like, I listened to it. I went, "Oh God, that was awful."
I don't think it was awful. I think it was a really good, valiant first effort. We were going to give you another shot before we fired you.
One more.
We talk about finding the compliment to yourself, and Sonny, everything that you just mentioned that you bring to the table is like everything we have already. But there is one thing we don't have, and that's the Y chromosome.
Oops.
No.
Oh, shoes. We don't have fabulous heels either.
She didn't say shoes. I think she said boobs.
I said boobs.
Oh, yeah, boobs. Well, we don't have those either. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So, that brings me to a very, very important point.
That Sonny is naked right now?
No, not the Sonny
I
naked
thought that
thing.
might help get us more listeners if I said that.
That's a given. We were hoping that would be the case. But so my wife was talking to me the other day. She says, what happened to the fact that you guys have a business show?
So she's talking to you again?
Yeah. So that's what I got out of it too. So she says, what happened to the fact that you guys used to have a business show? And I thought, well, we do have a business show, but I think we have something so much more valuable than a business show. We actually have some advice and some humor to add to the element as well. And there are so many business shows that are out there, and those guys are great. And I know, I don't have anything against them. But from the beginning, I always felt like our style, it was cramping our style to just do those shows that were so stiff. I mean, are you on the same page as me? Obviously you are.
Well, we're getting more listeners, and there are a lot of really boring business shows out there, and a lot of guys doing really boring interviews. And I just I like what we got.
Sonny, what do you think?
I listen to, bless his heart, I won't say the name, but I listened to a podcast the other day.
We want to know who.
I mean, nobody's listening to this one anyway, right? Just say the name.
Right.
It was someone who had been a guest on your show, and he has his own.
Oh
podcast.
yeah, let's not do that. Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
Edit that part out. No, I listened to one the other day, and it was such good content, but the delivery is just not quite there yet. But I think he'll get there. He's just going to need some more time.
Doug, I talk about that too. I mean, I think about that too. The audacity of podcasting, right? I'll name names. I don't give a shit, whatever. Right? Okay. And that guy he's won all kinds of awards and stuff.
Oh, wait, is that a podcast? The Audacity of Podcasting? Yeah,
thank you for clarifying. It is.
It
is a podcast called The Audacity of Podcasting. And basically he talks about podcasting. So I'm like, okay, cool. We could use all kinds of tips and advice. And he's just boring. I mean, he knows his shit. He's got good advice, but oh my God, to hear him just ramble.
It's like the Bueller.
Yeah, that's
Bueller.
tough. So do you think, and I guess I'll throw this out to the Nice Guy community out there, and certainly chime in on either our community board or on Twitter or wherever you can contact us. But how do you guys feel? Do you tune out to the Tuesdays and Friday shows when we have the interviews, or do you tune in with a different ear, or do you kind of like those shows? And then when we do our Wednesday show, that I am looking at the numbers only. And when I look at the numbers, I see that the download count for our Wednesday shows, if I go back, you can't do it because we still have a lot of momentum built up from Tuesday lasting into Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But if you look back like a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, the shows that have the greatest downloads are the Wednesday shows. I don't know if it's because of length. I don't know if it's because of, it's
length does
size
matter.
Length, which is more important there, Sonny, length or girth? We're going in a whole different direction with the show now.
You know what? They both are important.
See that? I agree with you. Important. I agree. You have to go long and you have to go wide.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for me, I love
depth and breadth.
Okay. All right, you two. Knock it off. So you have the show that you have, the really technical shows or the more technical shows, and we try both. I know, Strickland, you do some of the interviews, and I've done many of the interviews, and I try to be informative, and I think our listeners like those shows too. But the ones that we by far are getting the biggest download counts are on the Wednesday shows.
Well, if our listeners would just reach out to us, ones other than, and I certainly do not want to disparage Sonny and Stephanie Sursland and Sean Carpenter and Joshua Lee. Oh my gosh, I forgot to say. I was just listening to his podcast an hour ago on my way home.
Lyle Johnson.
That's it, Joshua Lyle Johnson. Joshua, if you're listening, buddy, I was listening to your podcast, the vacation podcast, on my way home an hour ago. I can't believe I blanked on your name. Anyway, we'd love to hear from more of our listeners. We love those guys, but we'd love to hear from more and tell us what you think.
What happened to Ashley Yanello?
I think she's fallen off the face of the earth. She's busy recording her hour-long podcast every night.
Jeez.
She's very sweet. I'm not going to disparage her. I'm just going to, if I can't say something nice, I'm not going to say anything at all.
But the problem was that, so Danielle, my wife, had said, well, are you getting away from the whole business agenda? And I thought, no, we really aren't. I think we really did last week. Yeah, we did talk a whole bunch of crap about the Olympics and Pokemon Go and all that, but I think we made several business points along the way. So, Nice Guy community, unless we hear differently from you, we'll assume that what we're doing is the right stuff.
And I think we need to hear from you guys anyway. We want to hear what's going on.
Okay,
in fact, I have a great idea. not to like totally change the subject, but if you're done, I'll totally change the subject.
Yeah, good.
I think we should offer a business challenge to our listeners because we know we have a lot of entrepreneurs, small business owners out there. And we've said to people, hey, leave us a message, leave us a question. We'll get you on the podcast. You know what? We need something even more direct. A couple things. First of all, recommend us on Overcast, of course. And
I'll get there.
Additional episode can be recommended. But the big one I want to offer, the Nice Guys Business Challenge. We want to help you grow your business. So let's say you're running a business right now and maybe it's struggling, or maybe you're having trouble, or you're trying to figure out you're stalled and you can't figure out how to make it grow. We're going to challenge you to come on our podcast and be transparent with us and transparent with our listeners. And we will offer you live advice on the podcast on how we think you could grow your business. What do you think of that, Doug?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, we'll even get into a little bit of the personal shit that we like to also, but because I think that's really where we really start to find out the personalities of people. And sometimes the things that hold you back are not the things that you tell us that are going to make you transparent through your business, but the things that you will tell us personally. I really do feel like how you handle your relationships has a lot to do with how you handle your business also. I love the challenge. I think it's great. Get you on the show. You can sit in for the entire episode if you want to. We just want to understand a little bit more about what makes you tick. That goes to say that is along with the entire community. We would love to have a bunch of people that would do that. I mean, I would think it would be a valuable tool.
I think it would be a great episode that we can offer free business coaching advice. And not only do I think that other listeners who maybe have similar businesses could get something out of it, but they might be able to chime in too. You know, who knows? We may get somebody that is in a t-shirt business, and your buddy with Quit Bitching Coalition might chime in and go, Rosario. Hey, by the way, Rosario, he might say, hey, you know, I heard your podcast, and for this guy, he might want to try X, Y, and Z, because, you know, we are all stronger than we are individually, you know, and if all of the Nice Guys listeners chime in, we are all about community and we all want to help each other. So all you got to do is call in to 4242 DJ Doug, leave us a message with your contact info, or email Doug@djdoug.com. Actually, what's our new email, Doug? We have niceguysonbusiness@gmail.com, right?
Hold on, let's make it really easy. Forget all that. Twitter is the easiest way.
Well, wait a minute. Twitter is easy for some people, but we have certain Twitter followers that are very active. Other people may not be. I want to give them an option.
Okay. Everybody knows how to use a phone.
Well, Twitter is an option, though. Twitter's a good option if you like Twitter. But if you don't like Twitter, niceguysonbusiness@gmail.com, or tweet out to Doug@djdoug.com, or me I don't even know my own Twitter handle, @NiceGuyOnBiz with a Z.
Can you edit out everything right after the intro of Sonny?
Or just throw a rock.
Sonny, what's your Twitter handle? And they can tweet out to you and you can figure it out too.
Beham Sunny. So B as in boy, HAM as in Mary, SUNNY.
Okay, so where did that come from?
Bellingham.
Yeah, Bellingham.
Beham.
Washington.
By the way, I was looking up your listings. There's one from the guy who used to be in Bachman Turner Overdrive, right? Is it Randy Bachman or something?
Yeah, that's a sick pad.
That's a badass house. I want that. Does it come with like one of his guitars?
No, but the gold record is in there. The gold record actually still comes with the house.
Really?
The recording studio is there.
There's a recording studio? I didn't look at the whole
description.
There's a
recording studio in the house. It doesn't have all of the equipment anymore, but it still has like all of the original woodwork. It's got the original like lounge area where Sinatra was, the Beach Boys. George Harrison stayed there for a summer in the guest cabin. I mean, it's like,
oh my God, Doug, I'm moving to Bellingham. I want this house.
Well,
seriously. If the walls could talk at this joint, oh my God, there were some badass parties.
Just Washington, the state of Washington in general is just an amazing place. I had a chance to visit. How far is Bellingham from Kirkland or Seattle?
Oh, like 100 miles. So like hour and a half.
Okay, but I'm assuming your part of the country is very similar to the others in that it is just the air is crisp and clean, and it's just such a beautiful part. And I know you have the issues with traffic as well, but it's not East Coast traffic. I don't think.
Our traffic actually blows. Like, I mean, not in Bellingham. Bellingham's a lot smaller, but Seattle, I grew up in Seattle, and the traffic now is so much worse than it ever was. And I've driven there and California and East Coast, and I love East Coast drivers because they use the horn. Like the liberal application of the horn is awesome. I love it. It's like, people are coming.
I don't like the horn thing. The horn thing is just sick to me. My wife uses the horn liberally also, and I don't like to drive in a car that uses the horn. Just Be chill, everybody. Why is everybody in such an angry mood?
Well, because they're stuck in their fucking car.
Maybe so. We have like a.
I mean, I like my car, but I don't want to be in it all the time.
I get it. There's only so much Nice Guys that you can listen to along the way.
Yeah. But it is beautiful here. I mean, like, honestly, I can leave my office and I can go for a hike out 10 minutes later and, be in the mountains, and it's great. So, or I can be out in the boat or skiing. If I skied, I could, I don't mix well with speed and gravity, so I don't ski. But if I did, I could be up at Baker in an hour. So it's great. It is beautiful, but it rains a lot.
Strick, I sent you guys both a list of the topics we are going to cover today, and we already have on the agenda probably a 3-hour show. So
we've hit one of them.
Yes, we did. We have now officially hit one.
And by the way, on top of my business challenge, I have one other thing to add to the list. So if we want to continue to not get to your list yet, I have one more thing to add.
No, that's fine.
On our Amazon link, somebody bought a watermelon slicer.
No shit.
So and Nice Guy community, if you don't know this by now, you should be listening. If you're a new listener, we have in our show notes a link, an Amazon link, and you can click on that link and go buy anything on Amazon, and we get a little commission from it, and we appreciate it. It costs you nothing more. That's what's really important about it. And so somebody bought a watermelon slicer. So we made, in effort to be totally transparent, we made 72 cents. So between that and the single book that we've sold, we've made almost $1 in a year and a half.
Which brings me to a really good topic. But wait, before we get to that, my call with Joel Bogus from what's it called, Relaunch?
Relaunch, yes.
Yeah, from Relaunch. I got a surprise call from another podcaster who has now over 1 million downloads. So I thought that was a very interesting call. Before we get to that, can I just go through the promise statement so everybody knows exactly why we're here?
Well, sure. We're only 16 minutes into the show. We might as well get to the promise statement.
Well, let's do it. So the Nice Guy promise statement right here. We promise to deliver topics that you want to hear about and to make them fun and interesting. You are the reason why we're here and why we do what we do. So we promise to listen to you each and every time you reach out to us. We don't always have guests, but it kind of reminds me of every time I say that, I think I'm who's the guy that does the beer guy or the.
Oh, no.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do.
The most interesting man in the world. I love him.
Yeah, we don't always have guests, but when we do, we promise to deliver the highest quality guests that help to add value to your business. We promise to hold nothing back. That's another thing you've asked for. Full throttle us. That may mean we'll drop an F-bomb. Sonny's already done it. I've already done it. I think, Strick, I don't know if you have. Could you just go ahead and drop that for me?
I thought I fucking opened it up. All right, so let it go.
We heard you like it when we talk dirty to you.
So dirty.
There you go. And if you want to hear the Nice Guys blues one more time, we'll do that at some point in the upcoming episodes.
We may have to record a new one for this intro, right?
Yeah, we might do that. That sounds like that might make sense. On Twitter, reach out to any of the three of us now. At DJ Doug is me. At Nice Guy on Biz, that's that guy over there. And the one with the boobs, that is Sunny. At Bham, Bham Sunny, Sunny. Add to the conversation and join our Facebook community. That is the Nice Guys community, or we'll put a link in the show notes. I think it's just niceshortcut.com. Thank you, Dan Rice, for getting us that amazing website.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I know, it's crazy. Here's what we want you to do. Review the show. I know Strick just covered that, but I'm just going to make sure you got it. Without you, the Nice Guy community, we have no show. As a matter of fact, we know that 85%.
Doug, that's not really true. We'd probably still record if nobody were listening. But it just wouldn't be nearly as interesting.
Oh, remember when we
really
used to
listening now, still recording.
If nobody's listening right now, and we are still recording. That is very true, Sonny. Remember in the beginning, we were like hoping we get over 20 listeners,
and now that was great, right?
Now we have 25. We're doing good. Where was I? Oh yeah. So we are in third place, right behind Tim Ferriss and NPR. Here's what I want to really try to do. First of all, Strick told you, just click on the show notes, the cover art, and right behind that, if you're listening on Overcast, you can click the recommend button. Go back as many episodes and do that as you want to. We really, 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 truly want to have a push on iTunes. So even if you listen to us on Overcast, can you just go over to the iTunes app for podcasting and just go ahead and subscribe? You don't even need to listen to it on there. Just let it download automatically to your phone.
Download all the episodes, recommend us, and then listen on Overcast. We're okay with that.
Yeah, it's completely fine. That's probably not the fair way to do it, but fuck, I've led my entire life being a nice guy.
Let's talk about fair, because I was just listening to your
Okay,
your buddy Joel. He was interviewing the VP of something or another for Libsyn, and he was at Podcast Movement, and he talked about how every podcaster out there lies about their downloads and how many downloads they get. And of course, he spoke at Podcast Movement. He wasn't allowed to name names because, that's like proprietary information. But he basically can say, hey, you know what? In general, everybody fucking lies about their downloads. So you know what? In the effort of forget fair, right?
We have 1 billion downloads.
We are 100% fucking transparent. In fact, I will take a screenshot of our Libsyn downloads. We are so transparent. Right now, we are exactly 338 episodes, 338 downloads from 100,000.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Basically tomorrow we're going to cross 100,000 downloads.
Oh, but
reality,
nuts.
Per episode, we get about 1,000 downloads an episode, which is fine, but we want a lot more.
I think it's actually a little bit more than that. I think it's closer to 11 or 1,200 because if you look through but okay, 1,000, that's fine.
Okay, so let's round it. But bottom line is we are very honest about that. So because we're honest about that, let's be fucking creepy and freaky and whatever we can about the rest. We need to get as many downloads as we can. So subscribe on Stitcher and subscribe on Google Play and subscribe.
Well, wait. Okay, hold on. That wasn't the point of why I was saying go over to iTunes and do it. Certainly the download counts is going to be great to be able to get double from each person, but that's not actually what I was looking for. What I really truly was looking for is iTunes is the bad boy. They are the bad mamma jamma when it comes to podcasting. If we are noticed on iTunes, if we go into the ranks of iTunes, what is it? I think you have access to the top 150 if you're just looking through something like that. If we get anywhere in that 150, we start to get noticed. The more we get noticed, just like why do you think we fucking were number 3 on Overcast? Because we were number 6 on Overcast, and people saw it because it appeared on their feed as soon as they logged in. That is, I would love to say it's because we're great, but we're just not that good.
Oh, come on.
People saw it, and that is what's now. As they were listening, they said, "Hey, these guys got kahunas. These guys are okay. They're actually doing the right thing." And then when we
wait a minute, kahunas? Do you mean cojones?
Oh, what the fuck?
You're a big kahuna.
Kahuna is like the big kahuna, cojones is like you got the big balls. Come on, my friend.
You must send me a primer.
I do not speak Spanish, but when I do, I make sure to mispronounce it badly.
All right, so Sonny's got bigger balls than either one of us. So
I have lady balls.
You really do. That is so true. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to be a part of the iTunes crowd, because if we get noticed on iTunes, it will certainly also help our rankings over there, which is great. Let's continue on the juggernaut that we're on with Overcast. But I want to get at least in the top 150 right now for iTunes. It's not that big a deal. Didn't we decide today that we're going to try to make a push for iTunes, Strick?
Absolutely. We are totally going to do that. And because they are the 800-pound gorilla in the room. And if you do not get big on iTunes, then you're not big anywhere. No offense, Overcast. We love you guys.
No, totally love you.
We want you to keep listening on Overcast because we really want to overtake Tim Ferriss and or NPR. But we'd like to at least get in the top 100 at iTunes.
Yeah, because I'm fucking sick of hearing everybody complain over on this show. God,
right.
We embarrass me. All right, one final thing. If you have not yet joined the Facebook community that we have, please do that. And
Nice Guy Shortcut, right?
Oh yeah, Nice Guy Shortcut.
Nice Guys. Isn't it plural? I don't remember.
Fuck. No, it's niceshortcut.com.
Oh, niceshortcut.com. That's it. That's a great URL.
Banana Slicer is legit.
Oh my God. Have you guys seen the banana slicer on Amazon?
No, tell me about that.
You have got to, oh my, yeah, because slicing a banana is really hard. You have got to go, this was back to the watermelon slicer. You've got to go and look at Amazon and read the reviews on the banana slicer. if you have like a free hour and a half sometime, you will pee yourself. It is so funny. It's like people go, I never knew how to slice a banana until I got this thing. It's totally saved my life. No, it's hilarious. Like the people are just being sarcastic. But it's the funniest thing.
I got it.
It is the funniest thing. I actually got one and sent it to a friend.
All right, let's get to this list. I got like a ton of shit to get to. Yeah. Don't we have all this stuff to get to, Strick?
Yeah, but that sounds like planning.
Yeah, maybe.
So Joel, you know what? You brought up your message from Joel, 1 million downloads, and we haven't heard a word about it.
All right, so I get a call. I'm driving. My wife had to get her nails done.
By the way, yesterday. We have been on a trend. Our Wednesday shows for the last at least 3 or 4 weeks, longer and longer and longer. You realize that our last Wednesday show is an hour and 20 minutes long. So if we want to keep on this trend, this is going to be a really fucking long show.
Well,
I hung on to the bitter end, by the way. I will have you know, I hung on to the bitter end.
Some of our funniest stuff came in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it was a great show. I listened to it. I listened to the Nice Guy Blues probably 30 times. I really had a good time with that. Strick, maybe in the post editing, maybe what you could do is maybe let who do you send it to? Audacity? No, who do you send it to? No. The audio. Maybe just if we do the Nice Guy Blues again. I noticed because of their editing and the way they have to do it, like the guitar dropped out when you were singing, and you didn't quite have the melody behind you the whole time. I thought it would be good. Maybe you can just separate it out in channels. How good is your editing? Your editing expertise?
You know what? We could try and figure out how to. Well, no, we'd have to record it to separate channels to be able to do that. But we probably could, or I could just go to Alphonic and turn the suck button down. That might help too. I wonder if they have a suck button. Maybe they don't have that. Let's try and record on 2 channels. I think that might work better.
You know what? Fuck you. All right. So the most important thing. Oh, wait a minute. We're in the Joe Boggess thing.
Joe Boggins?
Right. So Joe Boggess has a podcast called Relaunch, and really good guy. He interviewed me way in the beginning. I don't remember if I reached out to his podcast, his people or whatever, but he was doing. I think he had been podcasting probably for 10 years by the time I even had called him a year and a half ago, whatever it was. So I'm still trying to figure out really what the purpose of the call was. And so the phone rings. Answer the phone. He says, "Hey Doug, it's Joe Boggess." I'm like, Joe Boggess from Relaunch. It's kind of like John Lee Dumas picking up the phone and calling me and saying, "Hey Doug, it's John Lee Dumas. Can I ask you a favor?" I'm like, "Oh, sure, what? Anything you need." I don't really know why he called. Originally, I thought it was because he wanted me to share a link of my being on his show, on my show, on my website. So okay. I said I think I had already done that. So he says, "Let me check." He goes over to my website. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm right there. Hey, while I got you on the phone." So I'm thinking, okay, where are we going? Where are we going, Joel? What kind of dance are we doing now? He starts talking to me about, where did we go? We were just talking about download count and not numbers or anything, but how to increase. Does he have any idea if he has any business to try to get other podcasters to buy like a program from him?
I have no idea. I mean, you know better than me how many downloads he has. I mean, he looks successful. He has sponsors. I mean, he got this guy, Rob Walsh, who is the VP of something important on Libsyn.
All right, hold on. So I said to him, well, Strick and I have been really working hard at trying to monetize the podcast. I said, there's a couple of ways to monetize. You can do it through sponsorship. You can do it through affiliate links. You can do it through, speaking engagements that you get as a result or other sales. He goes, well, we don't, we've been doing the show for a long time. We went over, as you know, Doug, we went over 1 million downloads. I think it was
right. As you know, Doug, because I'm sure you've been following all the podcast trades. I missed
the 1 million download thing, but he's right. I'm sure he went over 1 million downloads. Joel is an honest and upstanding guy. And he told me, they went over 1 million downloads. He says, but they don't monetize their podcast.
They don't? The Relaunch podcast, they don't monetize it?
No sponsors.
Okay.
So
really,
so why? What was his why?
Well, wait. So ask your question.
Okay, why not?
I don't know.
Well, because one of the things that they talked about, I listened to the episode today with Rob Walsh from Libsyn, and one of the things they talked about was at Podcast Movement, everybody was like, how to monetize, and they both were like, hey, what if you just want to do it as a hobby? Okay, well, what if you do want to make some fucking money from it? All right. I mean, if you just want to do it as a hobby, then ignore all the monetizing stuff, right? What's the big deal? It's not that complicated.
I don't know. So then I asked him some follow-up questions. So I said, well, tell me what happened. So he says, well, he does a lot of work with multi-level network marketing type of businesses that hire him to come in and speak, which is great. And he goes and he probably gets a lot of back of house book sales as a result, which is great. Maybe he's got a training program or something, again, which is great. So I'm assuming that the way that he is making money from his podcast is probably through other sales, like speaking fees and book sales and training. I don't really know. So it gets me thinking, what are the different ways that you could either monetize or turn a podcast into a business? So I started to do some research and investigation of other things. I really do think there is a valuable tool to have podcasting be. You look at all the connections that we have made as a result of having a podcast.
Okay. So, but what was the point of his call? What did he end up? I mean, was there a point to his call?
I don't know.
Was he wanting you to be a sponsor? Does he want you to be his first sponsor?
I don't think so. I don't, like I said, I don't really know. Maybe it was a part of trying to build a relationship. I don't know. I was baffled not by the call, but do you name somebody that you just don't, would you expect to hear from, I don't know,
right,
from
like Mike Rowe? Right? Mike Rowe. I would never expect that Mike Rowe would give me a call and say, hey, I hear you're doing a podcast and you are a fellow Baltimorean. So, I wanted to be a guest on your podcast. Just wanted to call and say, hey, I wouldn't know what to say.
So, okay.
And by the way, there's a great line, totally off random track. I got to get my movie quote in, right? Kevin Smith, who directed Dogma and Clerks and Jay and Silent Bob, and he's got his own podcast and stuff now, right? When he was doing Dogma, before he did Dogma, Alan Rickman, who is, the guy that was, Professor Snape in love that guy. And he was Hans Gruber in Die Hard, right? So he tried to get him for The Angel. And one day, but again, Kevin Smith at the time, he's still just kind of this little pissant director, right? So Alan Rickman calls him up one day and he says, hey, I got your script and I really like it. I just have 2 questions. Is this the final script? And will the angel's wings be real or CGI? And Kevin Smith, who's telling the story, he says, I'm on the phone and all I can think to myself is, I'm talking to Hans fucking Gruber. That's it. So that'd be like me. I'd be like, I'm talking to Mike fucking Rowe.
Yeah, it was kind of, I didn't know what direction to go in with the call. I really wanted to just sit back and listen to what he had to say. And I kept thinking, there's some pearls of wisdom that he's a successful guy in podcasting, just not from a monetary perspective, but I know that he has achieved, if he is at 1 million downloads plus, which I really think that he would be, because he's just not the kind of guy that would.
500 episodes too. He's 498 episodes and he's almost at 500. Offense, but what's that, 2,000 per episode? 200? No, not 200. It's got to be an average of 2,000.
Yeah, it's 2,000
now. So that's double what we're doing, but how long has he been doing it, I wonder?
Years. And
10 years, right?
I think a long time, but look at I don't think quite 10 years, but I think for many, many years. Hey, Sonny, can you maybe, can you have access to your computer?
I got him up on the website right now. So, but anyway, go ahead. We're just trying to all get to the point here. I mean, there's got to be a fucking point, right?
No, the point was I was trying to figure out why the hell again, very nice guy, but I didn't know why he called. So then I started offering him, so he's going to be a guest on the show.
9 years. He's been doing it 9 years. He's going to be a guest on our show?
Yeah. I asked him if he wanted to be on the show. So I think what would be great is if I can ask him some questions like that. Can I? I guess I can. Is that kind of,
what else are you going to ask him? I mean, come on, you're going to talk about podcasting and how to monetize it, how to businessize it. I mean, okay. Right? What else would you ask him?
You're right. So I did
like, hey, shoot the shit. Like, hey, how was school 20 years ago? I don't know. What the fuck,
So, all right. I want to get off the phone call there because I think that, it was just, there was no really huge point to it other than just, you just get kind of, you're a little surprised when first of all, my phone doesn't really ring that much. Mm-hmm. So secondly, if it's going to ring, you expect it to be like your mom or your brother. It's Joe Bacchus. What the hell, Joel? Good to talk to you.
Maybe he just was dying to be on your show, but he didn't know how to ask. Ooh. So he was like, hey, I'm just going to call and kind of shoot the ship for a little while and see if he invites me onto the show. See, that could be it. It was like he was trying to ask you on a date.
He's jealous because
It's kind of like dating, yeah.
Our podcast is so cool. He just had to be on it.
Yeah, I don't think that was it.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think that was it. No. All right, let me move on to some other news because I think this is really interesting too. Do you guys, were you aware, and I'm sure you are unless you're living under some rock, and you know I'm living under a rock and I heard it. So you probably know what's going on with Michelle Obama's speech with Melania Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your spin on what happened, Strick?
Okay, I tried to avoid the specific details of that. I mean, I'm interested in what's going on with the presidential election, but like Melania's speech, I mean, come on, really. But let's look at it on the surface, right? She is a Russian immigrant supermodel, okay? And the line that she used to defend herself, it was something like this. I was writing it myself. I wanted to speak from the heart, and they were all my own words. No, that was totally not a Russian accent. I have no idea what the fuck I was doing there. But the bottom line is, she barely speaks English. Of course she didn't write that shit.
Oh, okay, so Sonny, did you watch them side by side?
I did watch them side by side, and I also watched the Rickroll version, which was hilarious. But I watched them side by side.
Strick, can we put a link to the Rickroll version?
I'm gonna have to find it, but I haven't seen it yet. I don't want to watch it right now because I'll start laughing. But I really need to find that.
All right, Sonny, go.
But I watched the side by side, and I just thought, oh fuck.
She totally.
I mean, it's so bad. But the thing is I can't say it's Melania's fault. Whoever their speechwriter is the one who fucked that one up.
And this is where I think that we're going to differ. I think that the speechwriter has enough knowledge not to do something. That is just like totally, you can't do that. You know, you're under the fucking microscope. You got millions, billions probably of people.
Wait, so you think Melania said, I'm going to go and take Michelle Obama's and no one will notice?
Yeah.
I don't think she's that smart.
Right. I got to side with Sonny on this one. I mean, obviously she speaks English fine. I'm just being nasty. I certainly don't mean to be rude to any immigrant listeners that we have, but she doesn't speak English well enough to write a speech like that, right? And clearly she was not just speaking off the cuff. This was clearly a pre-written speech, and there's no way she wrote it. Yes, maybe she gave some speechwriters some ideas, some thoughts of things that she wanted to hit on, but come on, a speechwriter wrote it, and this is Trump. So, when you say a speechwriter should know better, this is somebody hired by Trump. I mean, but this is a guy who is used to just having his own way.
So it makes me fearful to think that it's just Trump. He just hired this person. Who the fuck do you think he's going to appoint in his office if he's elected president? He's going to appoint people that he thinks are good at what they do. And so if you have somebody that's just, I think he's good at the military. Let's just follow all of the things that Hitler did.
It's just, I think there's also a big issue of they don't care what kind of press they get as long as they get press.
So I took that approach as well. I'm thinking, well, maybe they just kind of planted some seeds this way, just because they don't care what happens in the press.
I mean, it trended forever.
Plagiarism is, that's, first of all, I know I always say first of all a lot. If I've ever plagiarized or if I've done anything to copy anybody without giving you credit, let me apologize right now. I'm sure a lot of things on my website I've stolen from other people. Thank you. By the way, I'll try to
original ideas.
I'll go back and I'll try to quote everybody. I started looking through my last few weeks of posts. As a matter of fact, this past week, I made reference to something. I said, I'm not really clear that I'm giving this person credit. I went back and I put a footnote in my blog to make sure that they knew that I was giving them credit, because I don't want anybody saying, well, Sandler, you do the same thing that Melania is doing. I'm like, oh my God. It was just so obvious. We played them over dinner. My wife and I had a really good laugh. We played them side by side as ABC News had done. And it is exactly a part of her speech, at least 2 or 3 sentences.
The part on integrity.
Yeah, that's right. Well, talking about the children, exactly word for word. And I'm thinking, somebody's fucked here.
So, Sonny, what happens in the Rickroll version?
Well, they just start showing them side by side, and then Rickroll, and then everyone gets Rickrolled. Yeah. And you have the little, the cute little redhead out there dancing, the little ginger.
Okay, Nice Guy listeners, you won't know which version you're getting. Just go to the show notes and click on it, and it'll be something.
It'll be a fun surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very interesting topic that I would like to talk about. Can we leave the Melania speech behind?
Please.
I want to talk for a moment about farm-to-table food. Can we do that?
That was a bit of a right turn, but okay.
How do you get out of a Melania speech and not just completely just take a halt and have to take an immediate detour? I could have made maybe a comment about Trump's hair and the fact that it's blonde. And speaking of blonde, have you ever been into Starbucks? Speaking of Starbucks, do you know that they have natural coffee? Speaking of natural coffee, how about farm to table food?
Well, no, that's like too many steps. That's how many degrees of Kevin Bacon. I would say, hey, have you seen his hair? I think it comes from a farm.
Yeah, there's nothing natural, or there's nothing natural. But let's talk about natural.
So in a restaurant that serves farm to table food,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I'll work on my transitions. All right, we've only been doing this for a year and a half. I don't know what to do. Okay,
you've had in a year and a half, you have had a handful of very good segues.
Thanks so much. In a year and a half, I've had a handful. That's all I get.
Yes.
All right. So in the farm to table world, it literally is food that is coming from the farm. It's being handled very, very slightly somewhere. It's being then put in the kitchen and then served on the table, right? I mean, it's
that's the plan.
Why is it more expensive then?
Oh, Doug, do we really want to go into this? Is this going to be like our national parks discussion?
Didn't you guys talk about Monsanto the other day?
Yeah, this is going to get into like our Monsanto and national parks. Do you really want to know why it costs more? Okay, here's why it costs more. Let's say we are in the middle of Ohio, right next door to Monsanto, right? And there is a huge monster farm, whether it's a corporate farm or whether it's some guy that owns a couple hundred acres, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? So he makes like corn, and he makes thousands and thousands, grows thousands of ears of corn, right? Now, he's a monster farm. So he takes all the corn and he packages it up. Now, thousands and thousands of ears of corn can't be sold within 10 miles of him in Ohio. So he basically packages that up and spreads it out all over the country to Giant and to Whole Foods and to whoever, right? Well, now it's not considered farm to table because he had to package it and it had to be shipped and it went 100 miles or 500 miles or whatever. But the fact that he can pull it all together in one thing and ship it all in one big truck and then spread it out all over the world means it can be a lot more expensive. Now, let's take the extreme example. Let's say we've got a farm that is 10 miles down the road from this restaurant, right? Okay. Let's say the restaurant needs 5 ears of corn for the night. Okay. Well, yeah, that farmer can grow 5 ears of corn and can carefully and nicely drive those 5 ears of corn right down to the restaurant and drop them off and they can cook them. But that's going to be a little more expensive than a truck that can carry 10,000 ears of corn in the same amount of gas in the same amount of time.
I just think it seems to be counterproductive that we have all of this processing that's going on when you could just get a farm to table farmer to deliver food to, and how much better for the economy.
It's all about scale. It's just all about scale. You can't scale like a little small farmer who's only going to ship stuff, within 50 to 100 miles. And then there's all those places that don't have any farms.
Right. And also, it is about cost. So let's say that the general public started screaming that everybody wants farm to table. Okay, it costs a little more, but that's okay. It is available. That service is available if you want to pay more money for it. People have made the choice that in general, they don't really care that much about it.
It's like organic versus just regular produce.
Yeah, the whole organic thing really does fry my fritters a little bit because I really do feel like I want to put whatever is the most healthy option into my body. And
at any cost? What if you got to pay, okay, you want to put a healthy apple
$7
versus
for a tomato?
Right.
Wait, I missed it. What did you say, Sonny?
$7 for a tomato because it's organic.
I don't know if I would pay $7 for a tomato, but I don't know that I have to pay $7 for a tomato. But if I went into a Whole Foods and I think that Whole Foods does a very good job of probably marking things up a little bit higher than they should be, or maybe one of the other farm to table type of grocery stores. Fresh. I don't know the name of Fresh Food or whatever the name of the grocery market is, but I know that you can offer an heirloom tomato or an organic tomato at or the same price. It doesn't have to be that because you go into a farmer's market and you can get them at the same price. Why is it that I can get a fresh field tomato that's organically grown for $3.99 a pound at a farmer's market, but I walk into a Whole Foods and it costs me $4.99 a pound?
Because I don't want to go to a farmer's market and make a special trip just to get tomatoes and then drive to Whole Foods and then get the rest of my groceries. So, Sonny, if I were to ask you, hey, Sonny, would you sleep with me for $1 million?
Oh, no.
Her answer would be, yeah, sure. Then I would say, hey, Sonny, would you sleep with me for $100? Her answer would probably be, hey, what do I look like? A hooker? And my answer would be, we've already established that. Now we're just negotiating. All right. It's all about scale, Doug. So really, yes, you say you would not spend $4.99 a pound, you're okay with it because you can go to the farmer's market. But if Whole Foods has it for $8.99 a pound, then you're on the fence. It's like, well, totally is it double the price of a regular tomato? Is it a little bit more? And
where's the tipping point?
Right. And that's what's great about capitalism. I don't want to sound like Trump because I'm really not a Trump guy, but I got to tell you, capitalism is out there. Whole Foods is out there. And you know what? If they sell the organic tomatoes for $8.99, if the whole world says, I want fucking organic tomatoes, then they're going to make more of them and they'll sell them at $8.99. But the problem is the public doesn't do that. And that's why it's not more prevalent.
We have a problem with the public then. The public's just putting shit in their body.
Public.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's like you can get a box of macaroni and cheese for 47 cents. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. And why wouldn't you buy fresh pasta? I understand.
But that's it. It's all about the public. It's supply and demand. I mean, the reason that Kraft sells little boxes of macaroni and cheese at 47 cents or $1 or whatever they sell it for is because people keep buying it. Didn't we just talk about Burger King last week or was it like 2 weeks ago?
Burger King.
Okay, so Burger King, people were complaining that Burger King only had unhealthy food, right? Like, why don't you offer more salads? Why are you offering double and triple meat Whoppers to make everybody fat? And the guy from Burger King
nobody buys them.
Right, we offered salads. Nobody bought them, right? I have a responsibility to my stakeholders. I'm selling what people want to buy. This is a business. And that's supply and demand. That's capitalism.
Capitalism sometimes really sucks. It's very unhealthy.
Well, Doug, I'm going to look at the positive side for a minute. I'm going to take your side for a minute instead of playing devil's advocate. All right. 15, 20 years ago, how many Whole Foods markets were there out there? Or how many Mom's Organics markets were there out there?
I don't think there was any.
Right. So that says to me that we're moving in the right direction because Whole Foods has, I don't know, hundreds, maybe thousands of supermarkets now, and Mom's Organic Market is taken off. And so these smaller, niche, back to last week's episode again, they're growing, they're surviving. Obviously, as a business, Whole Foods is doing well, or they wouldn't be able to open as many grocery stores as they have been. So clearly we're moving in the right direction, right?
Yeah, I guess we are. I never look at it from that positive. I look at it and just say, I just went into Whole Foods and I spent $85 for 2 bags of groceries. I mean, literally, when you go into a Whole Foods, or not just, I'm not picking on Whole Foods. It's the style of supermarket that Whole Foods offers. There's another place that's by me called Balducci's. Is Balducci's is that a national chain? I don't think it is.
I'm not sure.
I don't think it's not I've never seen it on the West Coast.
But if I go into Balducci's here on the East Coast or here at the one store that I know that's Balducci's, I will spend probably $7.99 or $6.99 for that heirloom tomato. And I'm like, I don't want to spend that, but they're so fucking good.
Well, that's it. I mean, if you
could grow your own.
Well, that's true too.
I did. I grew my own one season and that was the end of it because it's just too much work. By the time it's a lot of work. I got a podcast to record.
Hence the $7.99 a pound.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe so.
If you feel that they're so much better than a regular tomato, then it's worth the price, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I just don't understand how people in general want to put shit in their body. I see that line as I remember driving after a lot of gigs that I want to talk about a gig that recently I want to talk about that. But
so we're gonna add another thing to the list. Okay.
No, it's on the list, but I will get to it in a second. I remember coming home from gigs on a Saturday night, and you and I used to meet to have a drink at Vic's every once in a while, Strick.
Yeah.
But that was good. But Taco Bell would always have a line around the building, at least 10 to 12 cars that were in line waiting through the drive-thru at 1:00 in the morning.
I'm sure they were all waiting to get salads.
Yeah, I'm sure. Speaking of gigs, so my wife and I were trying to do this last night as we were driving home from an event that we went to. Do you think that you could name, and we don't have to name all of them, but do you think that if somebody said to you, Strick, you have to play a wedding? Okay, now a band is slightly different than a DJ because you guys have the ability to pretty much play anything that's on your playlist. But if somebody said to you ahead of time, Strickland and the band Black Tie, you have to pick the 50 top songs, the 50 songs that you were going to play at this wedding, knowing nothing about the crowd other than you're coming to a wedding and you know the couple. Do you think you could pick those 50 songs ahead of time?
Sure, absolutely.
And know that 50 of them are winner songs?
I couldn't guarantee that every single one is going to be a winner, but I've been doing it long enough that I think I could get a pretty high percentage. Sure.
Yeah, and I said the same thing to Danielle. I said, I absolutely.
What's on your list? I want to know.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we can name a couple of them because I think it's kind of fun to be able to go through that. But I said, yeah, client says to me, DJ Doug, which is my DJ name, very, very, very creative of me, but I've had it for 100 years. So, Doug, you have to pick 50 songs. These are the 50 that you're going to play at my wedding. You can't bring any other songs with you, but I must have a winner of a party. I'm like, done deal, man. I got them all. So you want to go through a couple of them?
Yeah. I mean, I love that it's changed over the years. I mean, one of the things we talked about a little bit on the last podcast was, there are songs that 10 years ago I had to play every wedding. And I'm not talking about current songs like YMCA,
Absolutely.
I Will Survive, Celebration, Dancing Queen.
Now, Nice Guy community, listen for a second. We're not saying, oh, I love these songs. These are winner songs that you would love to hear. And these are things that if you tuned in on the radio, you would listen to. These are songs that we know, Strickland and I, this is like right in the power zone for us.
Yep.
Yeah, I hate every one of those songs.
Right. But at least 10 years ago, they worked every single time. If the dance floor is a little thin and I played I Will Survive, it was full.
Yeah, totally. Like right now, if I were to tell you that I'm going to play Uptown Funk,
That's one of my big ones. That was top of my list.
Everybody is going to come on the dance floor.
So right now, Uptown Funk, Blurred Lines, Treasure is still good. That's like all the whole Bruno Mars thing. The new Sia is good. Cheap Thrills.
Okay. Again, you're getting new, so this almost has to be almost timeless. I would say not timeless. It's hard to be timeless, but
it is.
Gotta have like
10 years
Prince
ago,
in there.
Say it again.
Prince Kiss.
Gotta have
Prince Kiss Kiss. Yeah, absolutely. That was one of our songs too.
But timeless. 10 years ago, I would have thought. I mean, I played I Will Survive every gig for 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I dreaded that it would last forever, and thank goodness it hasn't.
How about Respect, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, Sugar Pie, Honey Bunch, Superstition? Any of those?
Okay, except for Superstition, I have not played any of those in a lot of years. But now, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, I still play every gig.
Okay, but winner songs, they would win.
Yeah, I don't know, because
it's amazing.
Respect and Sugar Pie Honey Bunch, I think, are both ones that are starting to fall into the I Will Survive category that people are like, oh, God.
No, I don't think.
You just have to have an open bar and any song's a winner. Really.
That's pretty.
Don't we wish it was that easy, Doug?
Yeah. But she's not far off, though, because later in the evening, if you play even a song like Ice Ice Baby.
Oh, yeah, I throw that in all the time, actually.
That's still, if you have the open bar and you play Jump Around by House of Pain.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's going to
Someone's going to break a hip.
Somebody is going to break a hip with that song. It's coming out. But so you can go September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I play almost every gig. I still play.
You can go with that. You can go with Gonna Make You Sweat if you really want to. What is that, 80s track or 90s? Is that a 90s?
I haven't played that one. I really like it, though. I think it would go over well.
So I was just thinking there is a ton of songs that, yes, I think I could actually pull it out. If I had 50 songs that I could only take to the party, I could do it. Not that, would that ever happen? I don't know. I have a backup iPad that probably can hold about maybe 1,000 or 1,500 songs. It's not a real big, it's an older iPad, but I take that as the third backup with me in case both of my laptops break. I'm like, yeah. And then I have my phone also. So I guess I could probably play. I could easily do it if you gave me 1,000 songs. You give me 50 songs, I probably could still create a winner of a party.
Sure, absolutely. We could totally do that.
All right, that was it. I just wanted to see.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, this is going to be the podcast that has absolutely no point.
Speaking of no point at all, I'm looking at the next item on your list.
What was it?
Migration of the wildebeest and dung beetles. and other and this is Doug. This is an exact quote from Doug. Exact quote from Doug. And other National Geographic shit I love.
It is amazing. We watched the migration of the wildebeest on this Nat Geo special that they had. Did you ever watch that?
You're a busy guy.
I'm a busy guy.
But to take the time to watch that.
I have Netflix. It's the only. I don't have cable TV. I have the internet. I have porn. and I have Nat Geo.
So I
and you have
clarify
enough
something.
time with porn. You still have enough time for the wildebeest. That is.
Because I want to clarify something, Doug. You almost never watch television. In fact, you talk about the fact that you are proud that you rarely watch television. And when you do, you watch the migration of the fucking wildebeest.
Yeah, I was actually just kidding about the porn thing. I don't actually watch that. I just was trying to be a man for a second. But anyway, yeah. So I was hunkering down for dinner, and I'm like, hey, what's on that I can watch? There's nothing on immediately. I watched that same night is when I watched some of the highlights of the Melania speech, which was like so fucked up. But I'm like, okay, well, let's just see what's on the on Netflix. And I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, I don't want to watch any of these. These movies just suck. I mean, there was like, I did write down some movie titles I wanted to talk about. You see those too,
you did.
right?
Are those the ones that you saw that you didn't want to watch?
No, those are ones I totally wanted to tune in, but every time I would find one in the search mechanism, those 4 movies that I wrote down, which were Soylent Green, Planet of the Apes, Deliverance, and Ghostbusters, you can't get free. They don't offer them free because they're so fucking good. Anyway, so I'm watching I'm sitting there watching with my wife the migration of the wildebeest through the wherever they go through in Africa. What was fascinating to me is 1.5 million to 2 million wildebeest make this migration through the plains, and when they come back, they talk about. Can you imagine how much waste 1.5 million wildebeest make?
Waste, as in
like
how much they poop?
Is that like, I'm thinking waste because that goes along with your dung beetles?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, well, what the fuck happens to all this waste? I mean, I know that it makes great fertilizer, but God, can you imagine being the guy with the pooper scooper that goes around?
And that's where we have farm to table.
And it comes back full circle to farm to table again. So they happen to mention, because I'm thinking, holy crap! I'm watching just the highlights, and every wildebeest that they scan past is taking a dump. So I'm like, what the heck? The dung beetle is like the savior of the Sudan. 90% of the wildebeest crap, literally, is like burrowed into by the dung beetle, and they make a little home out of it, and they use it and they put it underground, and that's what fertilizes a lot of the ground. Therefore, we cannot use pesticides. Farm to table is very important, people. It's very important. Strickland is completely gone.
I'm sorry, Doug. Were you saying something? I think I nodded off there.
You don't want to talk about the dung beetle?
I just pulled up the migratory map.
All right.
I'm not going to download this on Netflix, I'll tell you, but I can see them going a little circle here, and that is.
They do. They make a huge circle, and they're talking about one of the things that's really interesting is they're talking about building a highway. What is that through the Sudan? No, it's not the Sudan.
It's Kenya and Tanzania.
Yeah, Kenya and Tanzania. Thank you. They're thinking about building a road because of dollars. They don't want
the Serengeti.
Yeah, the Serengeti. They're thinking about building a road right through the middle of all of that. And can you imagine like the migration? They were like, what? You can't build a road through that. It's important. Going back to our national parks conversation.
Well, it's also going to fuck up traffic. Like these wildebeest are just going to fuck up traffic if you think about it. Like you think East Coast traffic or West Coast traffic is bad. The Serengeti traffic is going to be a bitch during the wildebeest migration.
Well, I guess what they would have to do is they'd have to build a raised highway.
Yeah.
How expensive would that be? And how much? That would totally mess up the entire. They can't do that. Can they do that? Strickland, will they do that? All right.
I'm sorry. Were you talking again? I'm sorry, Doug.
Shut the fuck up. So part of the reason it was important to talk about the Nat Geo special was because as I was scanning through, I was searching for some movies that would be good, and those were the movies that I actually wanted to try. You remember the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, the whole series that was Charlton Heston and
Rodney McDowell.
Well, now are you talking about the original or the remakes?
No, not the remakes, the original Charlton Heston version.
Okay, so outside of Ghostbusters, you're looking at all movies that are 40 years old plus. And looking for those 5 movies, you couldn't find any other movies that were made like in the last 40 years that would be at least as interesting.
And you know what I just discovered? If you look at the common denominator between 2 of those movies, I believe that Charlton Heston was both in Soylent Green and Planet of the Apes.
Oh, true, very true. He was the lead in Soylent Green too.
Soylent Green is people.
That's true.
It is people.
Sonny, are you old enough to remember Soylent Green?
I watched it in high school. There may have been some substance abuse.
Yeah, I don't even, Soylent, I don't even think is a real word. I tried to Google it, and it just keeps spell checking me into something else. So I don't really know. But Soylent Green, nice guy community. If you're still tuned in, you should take a moment and check out Soylent Green, because
now, Doug, anybody that is old enough to know Soylent Green, they're in bed already. It's past their bedtime.
That's true, but that's all right. So that's why podcasting, you can listen at any time. So if you're listening to this during your commute, when you get home, just go to Netflix or go to Google. You could probably even find a couple of good little clips from Soylent Green. Just go ahead and type that in. It is a classic movie worth watching, just like Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, and by the way, spoiler alert, Soylent Green is made out of people.
Yeah, that is the spoiler.
There's lots of clips on YouTube. I just looked it up. Ghostbusters probably wasn't available on Netflix because the remake just came out. I think it was debuted this weekend, so they probably pulled the original off of Netflix because they want people to go see the new one.
Very good point.
Is it the same cast?
No, it's all chicks. It's all chicks in this one.
Have you not watched it? I know you
really
don't have
TV. But you don't have the internet either.
What?
Apparently.
No, I don't know who the new Ghostbusters. Who is in it?
Like Melissa McCarthy and Kate McKinnon from a couple of the SNL gals.
All right, I know Kristen Wiig, but who's Melissa McCarthy?
It's all who's Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah,
like she's like the biggest comedy actress in Hollywood right now.
Wait, that's not the heavy one, is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She was in the
Bridesmaids and
Bridesmaids. Yeah, she's good. I like her.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
Yeah, she's good.
And Kate McKinnon from SNL is hilarious too.
Hold on a second. Is it all girls that play the roles of the 3 guys?
Yeah. 4. Okay. By the way, there was 4. You're forgetting the black guy, right? Like always forget the black guy. It was 3 white guys. It was Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and who was the third white guy? I don't remember now. And Harold Ramis, who directed it. Yeah. And the black guy, right? Like, forget about him. In Dogma, you remember the movie? Hey, we're back to Kevin Smith again. In Dogma, they talk.
That was the best movie. Oh my God.
Yeah. Chris Rock plays the 13th disciple, right? Yeah. And he comes back to Earth and everybody's like, yo, dude, I read the Bible. There's only 12 disciples. And he's like, see what happens? They're always putting the black man down. Cut him out of the book. 12 disciples, not 13.
That sounds like you did a very good Chris Rock impersonation right there.
Way better than Melania.
There's a great line in that movie, actually, because Kevin Smith is really big on, he writes the scripts, right? And he doesn't change the scripts and he doesn't like ad-libbing and stuff. And there's this one part of the movie, because Chris Rock, obviously, as a comedian, he loves to improv and he would keep doing it. And Kevin Smith, while they're directing the movie, Kevin Smith kept saying, Chris, stick to the script, stick to the strip. And this is a story that Kevin Smith actually tells, right? There's a line in the movie where a part of the movie where Kevin Smith said he was kind of stuck for a really good line. And Chris Rock kept saying, let me just do something. Let me do something. And Kevin Smith finally was like, fine, go ahead. And the question is, a guy says to him, wait a minute, like he's a disciple, right? And when he first comes back down to earth, he says, the guy asks him, you mean you knew Jesus? Chris Rock says, knew him? Brother owes me $12. and Kevin Smith even says, you know what? The one line in the whole goddamn movie that I didn't write, and it's the funniest fucking line in the movie.
It is.
So when does that movie come out? I might have to, or is it already out?
Look it up on Netflix.
It's
about 20 years old.
No, the new movie.
Oh, the new Ghostbusters. It's in the theaters right now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, maybe they'll sponsor us. I mean, they've got a $1 marketing budget, right?
Does that include extra candy or popcorn at the concession stand?
I don't know.
Oh my God. What is in right now? If you were to go down to your pantry right now, speaking of food, what would be in your pantry? Do you have anything? I mean, you probably do, Strick,
you
because
gave me fair warning on this, and I was going to do research last week because I know there's some really weird stuff in there, and I totally didn't do it. But I've got lots of stuff in my pantry, but a lot of it's crap that's been sitting there for a year or more.
I'm ready for the zombie apocalypse if it comes. Our pantry is so well stocked with everything that you could ever need.
Sonny, so in your house, is it you're married, right?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Is it just, I know
it's the second time.
It's not.
Second time I'm married.
Yeah. I've got you. So between the three of us, we have 5 marriages that have happened.
And say, what's the name of your future ex-husband?
What's your future ex-husband's name?
Eddie Lake.
Eddie Lake. Oh, wow. That sounds like a movie star's name.
Sonny
Sonny and Eddie Lake.
That's very good. So why do you guys have such a stocked pantry?
Because I don't plan ahead when I go to the grocery store, and sometimes I impulse buy, and I'm like, oh, that I can make something great out of that, and then I throw it in the pantry, and then there you go.
So is it mostly? So really, what you have mostly is shelf-stable food. Then can we get back to the farm-to-table idea for a moment?
I do have some stuff that probably should have been eaten that needs to go away. Like I have some sweet potatoes. I always buy sweet potatoes. I don't know why I buy them in the summer because I never cook them.
Oh, so is it the staple in your? If you had to pick 4 items, let's get back to the 50 songs for a second. If you had to pick 4 items that you would buy for your house, and only these 4 items you could have in your house, what would they be?
These are the only 4 things I can have in my pantry?
You have to.
And these are pantry items,
No,
or
they could be pantry or fridge. Like I'll tell you mine. I'll go because I'm always ready for this. Whenever I go to the grocery store,
that scares me. That you're really
I go
ready
to the
for
grocery store, this is what I get. I get organic eggs, usually a dozen or 2. I get 3 or 4 or 5, depending on their cost. 3 or 4 or 5 avocados. Okay, I get grapefruit juice. And I get strawberries.
You get organic grapefruit juice and organic strawberries?
Well, I get fresh squeezed grapefruit juice but it's...
No wonder you spend $85 on 2 bags of groceries.
Simply,
Thank you.
I am careful about what I put in my body because I do absolutely no fucking exercise at all.
Oh, and I do. I exercise, but I am careful about what I eat too.
So I try to get organic stuff as much as I can because I think it's better for you. Anyway, so eggs, avocado, strawberries, and they're pretty much for my wife. I don't even eat the strawberries. And we get bananas too, organic bananas. So those 5, if I had to pick 5, so there's my 5 items. How about you guys?
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate for a minute before we get on to the next items.
Okay.
Because this whole organic thing, look, I'm not against it, right? I mean, I like it, but you know me, I like to play devil's advocate sometimes.
All right.
You say you like to put healthy stuff in your body, right? So have you ever tried, like maybe 1 week, if you try buying the non-organic avocados and the non-fresh squeezed grapefruit juice and the non-organic strawberries, how bad do you think they'll be for you? I mean, everybody tells you that it's better for your body, but really, how much better? Is it? All right, is it $4 a pound better?
Hold on. Let's look at it this way. Yes, I will still go into every once in a while, like once or twice every 6 months, I will still go into McDonald's because I'm in a pressure situation and I need to have something in my body to eat. So it's like going to McDonald's, ordering a Big Mac and getting a Diet Coke. What's the fucking point? Well, you save where you can, but you're still putting a chemical in your body. I get organic bananas because they're 10 cents a pound more than regular bananas. So that's no big deal. It costs me an extra 50 cents maybe for bananas, maybe 20 to 50 cents. The avocados, they're a little bit more. They're probably $1 or $2 more. The way I'm thinking about it, it's like it's worth it to put a little bit more healthy stuff in my body. With strawberries, you're eating the entire thing. You're eating the pesticides that they've put on top of the strawberries. Even if you wash it off, you're getting the pesticides. Organic, they don't use them. So I may as well put something that's organic into my body. And with eggs, I can't tell the difference, but I feel like what's going on over there, Sonny? Who's speeding by you?
It's like a monster truck rally outside my office.
Totally was it. So for me, I don't know. The organic eggs, I think, are important. I feel like I'm doing something that's a little bit healthier for my body. Maybe I'm spending an extra few bucks, but if I eat out 1 time less a week, it makes it for me. I don't know.
Yeah, but look, I'm with you. We hit opposite ends of the spectrum where you get McDonald's versus strawberries, right? But to me, the real question is, okay, organic bananas versus regular bananas. And I'm with you 100%. At 10 cents a pound more, hey, you might as well not take the chance, right? But at $1 a pound or $5 a pound more, I guess that's it. I'm just playing devil's advocate because believe me, I'm with you. I prefer to eat healthy, but the whole question is at what cost, right?
Well,
like save the dolphins, don't don't eat the tuna.
It's
right?
not a cute. It's not a cute thing. It's not a I want to be cute versus I don't want to be cute. It's a I would like to put. Let me ask this, and I'll state this. I'm lactose intolerant. Did not realize it until I went on this program called the Whole 30 program and took all this stuff, this crappy stuff.
Oh, the Whole 30. That's brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. I did it twice. It was brutal only for the first week, and then it's completely good. But when you start introducing shit back into your diet, you realize all of the bad things that you were eating. When you do something like you take dairy, processed sugar, alcohol, nuts, starches like white potatoes, when you take all of that stuff, dairy, cheese, when you take all of that out of your diet and then you slowly start to introduce things back into your diet, the first thing I introduced back into my diet was dairy. I had cheese. I'm like, fuck, cheese is really messing my system up. So
It's so delicious.
It is so delicious. So you have to kind of weigh that balance between, do you want to have cheese and feel crappy and make it and be I loved ice cream. Ice cream was like my favorite thing, but ice cream was tearing me up. So I said, I'm just not going to eat ice cream. I have not.
Have you had the coconut milk ice cream instead?
I'm not a big coconut fan, but I will. But you know what I really like now? I love sorbet. I've just learned to adapt that ice cream does not work well in my system. And maybe, although my feeling is it makes me feel bad, maybe it's doing something further detrimental to my body. Maybe it's messing with my intestines. Maybe it could cause a blockage. Maybe it could cause some level of stress in my body that my body shouldn't have. So for me, that point is like, that's a clear thing. I'm not putting any cheese or dairy into the only thing I have that is dairy related is I put probably a tablespoon or two of cream in my coffee in the morning, but I probably could do that with soy just as easily.
No,
but
it's not as good.
It's not as good. You're right. So for me, that's the thing I just said. I'm not going to give up on that, but I will give up. I will give up the ice cream. I will give up butter. I don't even cook my eggs with butter. I used to use ghee, and then I'm like, no, I'm just going to use a nonstick pan, and I can't tell the difference anymore.
Well,
You
but
could use
you
olive oil
realize-
too.
And you realized you're lactose intolerant. So clearly there is a large benefit for you to make this change.
That was an obvious thing, though. So let's take it and say, what if you don't know that you're pesticide intolerant? That may sound stupid, but the reality of it is when you put a chemical in your body, like a pesticide, you're fucking your body up and you don't even realize it until, 10, 20, maybe 50 years from now.
Okay,
We're just so lucky to live to 95 years old.
So just to play devil's advocate again, there's a lot of argument today that the kids today have got so many more allergies and they're not as immune to things as they used to be. And some doctors and scientists are blaming that on our hand sanitizers and that the kids are too clean. And, I used to play in the dirt and the mud, and I would eat mud and dirt, and I would make the argument that is what has helped me. That's what's helped my body create a tolerance to all those things. So I think there's a balance.
No, I don't think there's ever a balance to pesticides put in your body. I don't think that there is. I think that they don't realize all of the shit that we put in our body, how horrible many of the chemicals that go into our body really are. So when I say something like I'm going to eat an organic avocado, I don't eat the skin of the avocado, but when I cut the avocado, it's unless I'm washing it thoroughly, or a tomato.
It absorbs into it as it's growing.
Yeah,
but also, it's like, think of your air and how polluted the air is, and you can't not go outside.
No, it's true. So you try to do the things that you can to eliminate that stuff out of your life. So for me, I don't know. It's kind of worth the extra couple of bucks that I pay for the organic stuff. It certainly is worth it for me to avoid the dairy in my life. I feel better,
Okay, tree hugger. It's all good.
You should live in Bellingham. You would totally fit in. Everyone's organic. Everyone's like wearing hemp shit and stuff. And
yeah, but Strick, do you know me as like when I go out to dinner? Do I appear to you to be like a tree hugger and a farm to table guy?
Is this chicken organic?
Yeah. Do I say anything like that?
No, only on the damn podcast.
And I'm not doing it to try to be controversial. I'm doing it because I don't know. I think there's a lot of people out there that are like me that are just want to do more, do better things for their body.
I still think we need to tighten up the national parks.
if we should do that.
I think you should add to your list of shows to watch. You should add Portlandia if you haven't watched that yet.
All right. I will make.
Oh my God, you will love it.
Note of that. So wait. So I gave you my items, my food items. Did you guys give me your food items?
I also like avocados. I'm not super particular if they're organic or not.
You only get 5 items.
I know we eat avocados every day.
Okay, there's one of your 5.
I'm going to have to say apples and bananas.
Okay, you've taken 3 of your items and you've put them into fruits and vegetables so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
God, I would like to say pie, but I probably shouldn't say pie. Oh gosh. There's these chips that I really, really, really like, and I would.
You're going to take one of your items and you're going to put it into chips?
No, I want to say that. I mean, you should. When my husband travels a lot for work, and honestly, when he's gone, all I eat is chips and salsa, morning, noon, and night.
Do you eat standing up over the sink?
Not over the sink.
Okay, I just didn't know. My wife eats. She would eat every
standing
meal.
Up.
She'd eat every meal over the sink. I don't understand how
I stand up in the kitchen and eat, or sometimes I'll sit, and watch TV or something.
All right, so you got 4 of your items. You got apples, bananas, avocados, and these fucking chips that you don't even know what they're called. But they're the food. The good food. The food should taste good. They're in a black bag. You get them at Costco, and they're all right.
They're like the multi-grain, gluten-free. You'd like them. They're for glutards. They're multi-grain, but they're really good. And oh God, I'm kind of addicted to that LaCroix sparkling water right now, but I don't want that to be the only thing in my pantry. But I guess it could be, because honestly, I could just eat chips and avocados every day, and I would be fine.
And that's a good list, but this is the list I'm really looking most forward to hearing.
4 items, right? That's all I get. 4 items.
5.
We made it 5.
5?
Yeah, we gave you 5. You got like a whole.
I already had it narrowed down to 4. I don't know what to do for 5.
Throw in a different kind of whiskey.
Yeah, I didn't even think alcohol. Go ahead, give me your 5.
Let's see. I'll give you the 4, and I'll have to think of the 5th. The 4 is going to be Hamburger Helper, Chips Ahoy, Bacardi Rum, and the phone number for Domino's Pizza.
He is a nice guy community. He is not joking with you. He's telling you absolutely 100% the truth of what he would have. And it's so amazing. He's going to live to be 110 years old, and I'm going to die like next year of probably, I don't know.
You're well preserved. Strick, you're well preserved with all of that stuff.
You know what? I could walk out and cross the street tomorrow and get hit by a bus. And you know what? When I do get hit by that bus, I don't want to be fucking hungry. I'd rather be drunk. Okay. This organic avocado is so fucking good. Boom! It's gone. It's done. It's over. Fucking. I want to be shoving a slice of pizza in one hand and a beer in the other when I get hit by that.
All right.
bus.
So I'll talk to you about the pizza for a second. I would love to have pizza, but it makes me feel gross.
Because you're lactose intolerant. I mean,
right.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense. And really, I eat pizza way less than I used to. I mean, I really try to avoid it as much as possible, because you're right. It is so fatty and so horrible. I mean, you don't even realize how bad it is for you. But look, I joke. I eat very little red meat anymore. I eat a lot of chicken. I eat fish whenever I can. I really do try to eat healthy. I mean, that's how I've stayed in decent shape. In fact, my girlfriend.
What would your 5th item be? Sorry.
My 5th item. Oh God.
Think about it while you're talking.
Think about it. So my daughter's boyfriend the other day, I met him like a month and a half ago, right?
Hold up. What?
Yes.
I was like, which one's got
my daughter, Amanda. Amanda has a boyfriend that she's been seeing for a couple of months, and they're very close. He's a very nice guy.
How close are they?
Let's not get into that. Okay. We don't want to get quite that personal here on the podcast.
I'm just a little, what do you mean we don't want to get into anything?
So when he first met me, he said to Amanda later, he's like, how old is your dad? And I'm like, I told her to tell him how, and he was like, oh my God, he ages like an Asian. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that as a compliment. I like that. All right.
There you go. Yeah, you're old. I'm sorry.
I'm 50.
I know you don't like.
I don't talk about it on the podcast. I'll edit that out, right? Like Doug, you're 51. I'm 50. We're not young guys, but I mean, we act it. And Sonny, we're too polite to ask you your age because you're a woman. We wouldn't do that.
It's fine. I'm 40.
God, so
Damn.
well.
We all look great.
Yeah, Sonny, I would easily put you in your early 30s.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks.
One of us is going to be your next ex-husband. You realize that, right?
but I do exercise a lot.
Yeah,
Honestly, that's how she stays in shape.
She does. She sent me some information about this race that she was on. I was just looking at the warm up for the race. I'm like, oh my God, I could never even do a quarter of what you do.
No, I only run when I'm being chased.
It was a 200-mile relay race.
A 200-mile relay race.
What? How much does each person run?
There were 3 of us there's 12 people on a team. 3 of us ran about 20 miles each, and then it was as low as 12 miles for some of the people. But yeah, I had to run 10 and a half miles starting at 10:30 at night. Yeah, because it goes through the day and night. Our team took 33 hours to complete the race.
And where in the how far along were you? Where were you in the placing structure?
I was runner 7, and we each have 3 different times that we run. So
Sorry,
I started.
Where did you finish? Sorry, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay. So we started at the Canadian border, and we end down at the south end of the
first place, second place, third place.
Oh God, there were 600 teams. We were somewhere in the middle.
Okay. That's respectable.
Yeah.
Sonny, my place on that team is sitting at the finish line in a lawn chair with a drink to cheer you on when you get there.
Yes.
Well, thanks. You could do that next time because we'll do it again.
Strick and I are not from the exercisers.
No.
You guys can drive the vans.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah, you guys can drive our vans and cheer for us. You have to hang out the window and cheer for us when you're driving by.
Strick, Sonny, did we get to bring up the first point that I brought when we first started the podcast almost an hour and a half ago? It was my wife asking whatever happened to the fact that this was a business podcast. Did we say anything about business?
We did. We said, we did talk about how it's important to be, well, I just had this conversation earlier today that being a fully well-rounded person is really important to attract the kind of clients and the kind of people you want to work with. So they need to see all facets of your personality.
Strick?
I think we said the word business a couple times.
Yeah. Nice guy on business. I think that was one of the first lines that you said when we first walked through that.
But business and advice together, I can't say that we ever combined the 2 of them.
So
be nice to people. That's our advice. And it's a business podcast.
I know we're running out of time, but I think that we probably at some point, maybe, do you want to do it today? Do the 12 biggest worries that entrepreneurs have?
We hit an hour and 20 on our last episode, and we're already past that. I don't think we should go much more. Let's just put a link to your blog that you wrote in the show notes, and then if anybody wants to see the 12 mistakes that every entrepreneur makes, they can read the blog. Next week we'll get to it.
I have to tell you, this is a great plan, and I like this plan. I want to tell you that probably last week I had about 150 hits on my website to read that blog.
You're kidding, really?
No, I honestly, it's probably one of the most highly read blogs on my website right now. So leading me to believe that people are actually taking action on the things that we are telling them to do.
I love that. And we're going to skip the last thing that you put in the chat, which is organic tampons.
Yes, please. We're going to skip that one.
We don't want to talk about that. We'll get to that on another. Well, you know what? We'll put a link to an organic tampon that you actually could buy if you choose. They're
$75 each.
Can you purchase it through our Amazon link so we can get a 4% commission?
That would be very nice. I appreciate that. All right, Sonny, any closing remarks? Any final words of advice that you can provide the Nice Guy community?
Be nice. Eat organic. Don't send dairy to Doug.
Yeah, don't send me dairy. Yeah.
Send alcohol to Strick. Send alcohol to me, please. I like being the tits on the show. I think this is kind of fun.
I think it is. I think it is as well. Strickland, any closing pieces of advice from you?
Don't eat organic if it costs too much money.
Okay. And I will say, if you have not had a chance yet, we'll put a link in the show notes to Nat Geo's Migration of the Wilderness. Because you will not believe these fucking dung beetles. They are amazing. You have got to see wonderful effort. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Welcome to our new team member, Sonny Lake, Strickland Bonner, my co-host out over there. Reach out to us if you have any information at all. If you've stuck it to the episode through the very bitter end, we appreciate you doing that. Make sure you head over to the show notes and click the recommend button. You can do it twice because the episode is twice as long today. No, actually, if you hit it twice, you unrecommend our show. So do not unrecommend the show. Totally make me pissed. Steve O'Brien, I think it's time. Take us out of here.
For the nice guys on business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Because it's such a fine line between stupid and clever.